Come listen to Barra, but not on the radio. It's the Third Bird Batty podcast show. Head down the back alley and play a drop shot at the net. Or you can bet you're gonna be in the know. If you listen to the Third Bird Batty podcast show.
Well, you better say.
Well, I was the youngest of a family of 8, and I was born at Derby on the northeast coast, and all of my family, I think, play badminton, except me, because I was too young at that stage, to become involved in badminton as it was being played at that time. And it wasn't until I went to Launceston to go to high school that I went one night down to my eldest sister's badminton club, and she was an A-grade player in Launceston, and it was on the final night of that season, and one of the players who was there said to me, "Come on, we'll go and have a hit while they're having supper." I said, "Oh, I've never played this game," and he said, "Doesn't matter, you can come and have a hit." So that was how I started. That was, one night. That was at the Baptist Tabernacle in Launceston, which is near the Albert Hall in Launceston, which would probably be more familiar to you.
Yeah.
And the next year I played one season there, and then the Baptist Tabernacle decided they wanted to sell that property, so we had to look for another location for me to play. And one of the chaps that I worked with at that time, he said, "Oh, I play up at Milton Hall." So he said, you can come up and play up there. So I went up there and played up there, and of course Joan was a member up there, so that's how we first met. Yeah, and we were there for a year or two maybe, and then we went out, we looked at going to the next level of badminton performance, and we went out to the Elfin Showgrounds and played with a team called Maya, and of course the probably star performer at Maya at that time was Don Murray, who you'd be more familiar with. Yeah. So that's how it started.
Yeah, well, I didn't. I think I must have been 18 when I started, and it was at St Aidan's Hall, just up the street from us. And this lady said, "Oh, there's another, badminton over there, and to play." And of course, I went over to Milton Hall, and yes, as I said, saw this one, and we've seen you ever since. But I wasn't. I was more hockey. I was more involved in the hockey because Mum was a very state hockey player, and badminton was sort of just second thing. But and I did play a bit of tennis. But so from then on, I suppose you can say we sort of, well, I don't know, what year was it that we got married? It was about 3 or 4 years after we'd started anyway playing badminton. Yeah, that's it. Yep.
So you've got to that stage and then started playing at Elfin.
Yes.
In terms of getting serious around that type of thing. So what did that look like as far as was it pennant night and then tournaments as well, which led into?
See, there's lots of things we had. Like it was the state and the intra-state for the matches. We had a championship competition, wasn't it, in Launceston, which was at the Albert Hall, and was handicaps and the other ones, wasn't it? But if you'd have really seen the court at Elfin, I mean,
there were 2 courts, but they backed on each other, separated by a curtain which went about 2/3 of the way down to the floor.
So are either of those, they're not the Elfin as it looks like now, or is it?
No.
Elfin Showgrounds was down Cypress Street from the MLC College in Elfin Road. That's
Right.
where it was. Like it's in Vermey now and all those.
Yeah.
No, that was there because there was also the horse racing track
Yes. Yep.
and at the same place, and we used to have to stop playing hockey because we played in the middle of it when the horse races were going. And then we'd come from that and we'd go to the grounds and like the hall and play badminton. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was at just Elfin, nothing like the Invermay one now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dear.
But
And-
see, prior to that though, you see, we used to play pennants. You know, used to have local teams.
Yep.
You know, and Milton Hall was one of those, and Peyton and Baldwin's, and a lot of the country places used to have their own badminton teams. And
Was
we,
Postal one? Post?
like, you know, Piper's River and Exeter and Whitehill, and you know, they used to have badminton teams, and so we used to move around. But as Joan mentioned, you know, we had the that sort of competition going, and we had the Northern Championships at the Howard Hall. We had the state championships, and then of course a bit later on in our career, they had the opportunity to play in state championships and then state teams.
Yeah.
So there was a whole progression, you know, which isn't so much available these days.
No. And with a normal pennant night, we complain now that we finish at 10 o'clock. What did a normal pennant night look like? I know you spoke about supper before when you were...
Well, there were special occasions, I think, that more than the supper. But no, but I just often think that we're coming from, with Ken and Jeff and myself, because I lived in Abbott Street, which is, anyway, it's Abbott Street there in East Launceston, and we would be coming home 11 o'clock or more, going past the bakery, and you could smell the bread being made. I always remember that, wasn't it?
It wasn't.
So it'd be
Collins
about
Bakery.
11ish at night, and the bread was being made, and we'd be walking home, of course, walking home from there. But
No, we used to have a cream case of supper, you know, used to have supper, especially in the country halls.
Yeah.
You know, because they used to love, you know, the night out for all the locals.
Yeah.
No, it was good. But we played in some funny halls.
I was just going to say, there was some good
I keep on
halls.
talking to people about, say, White Hills, for example. The size of the floor was the exact size of the badminton court. So the only place you could actually watch was in the supper room. So you had to put your head through a hole in the wall so to watch, and if the shuttle came down the sideline, you had to put your head in. And, you know, of course, the old story about having a stage in the corner of the hall, and the line used to go along and up on the stage and across and back down again.
Yeah.
And you'd have to sort of negotiate that. Yeah, all those sorts of obstacles. But you know, I think it was a social game of badminton at that stage.
Yeah.
You know, everybody that played, they didn't aspire, you know, to making a state team or anything. They just loved to have the competition on a local basis.
Yeah.
And that was, you know, the beauty of pennant competition in those early days of our badminton career.
Yeah.
But of course that all stopped when we went to Mile because everybody got a bit keen about, you know, achieving a state team. And of course we were fortunate enough, you know, to be selected on numerous occasions to play in a state team.
Yeah.
And so the local rosters, you know, as far as we were concerned, really didn't continue on from that point onwards.
Yeah.